Ed Reardon's Week by Christopher Douglas and Andrew Nickolls. Episode 2, The Speech.
Monday. Another 7 volumes of Ed Reardon's diaries were dispatched to my agent last week, fully annotated, of course, with extensive extracts from my correspondence with the great and the good. Also, a few suggestions for the blurb. A spicy hot pot of anecdote and opinion, laced with a generous pinch of rancour. I'll just check the emails, see if she's got a publishing deal for the diaries yet. Dear Mr. Ed, I am auditor with Central Bank of Nigeria. Oh, here we go again. How much does he want to pay into my account this time? 15 million. Worth a moment's thought during this morning's bargain hunt. Now, what's this one? Stop all the clocks, yeah. Eli and Bill are getting married. Are they now? We think it would be fab if you could attend at our forthcoming nuptials. Oh, really? You think these gay couples would have more taste than to descend to rank cliché, not to say bad grammar? P.S. Hope you can come, Dad. Dad? Oh, not Eli, Ellie. And that's how my daughter's spelling her name these days, is it? We'll have to think about that, won't we, Elgar? After giving due consideration to the Bank of Nigeria offer. Still, nice of her to ask, I suppose. Right, to work. Like Herodotus, Pepys, and Evelyn Waugh before me, though emphatically not like Bridget, expletive-inserted Jones, the Reardon diaries offer a unique literary snapshot of our times, a writer's burden stretching from the present day back to the winter of discontent.
But, Ed, these are all discontented. Every single season from 1978 onwards, it's so libellous you couldn't publish more than a couple of pages.
Well, that makes it all the more commercial, surely. Unputdownable in your parlance.
Even this cricket match you watched on television after you came back from shopping, you'd have 5 million Australians phoning their lawyers.
Oh, well, they take offence at anything.
That line about the sheep and the corks. I've got really, really good friends who are Australian. I thought of suing you over that. It's a horrid thing to say.
Oh, we could cut that. Thing is, Ping, I've got slightly pressing financial commitments right now, and my daughter's getting married.
Oh, cool. When? Where? What's the theme?
Well, judging from the invitation, the theme seems to be misspelling and illiteracy, but as father of the bride, I feel I should at least be in a position to pay for the drink.
Ah.
Well, not just mine. I mean, a drink for the other guests as well. And I suppose I'll have to make a speech.
A word of advice, Ed. Don't use any of this stuff from the diaries.
Right. No. What if, instead of publishing, I were to take some of the material from this on the after-dinner speaking circuit, so I could be both risque and well-fed? And John Major apparently earns 50 grand a night for this, for God's sake.
Right. And what's he been on again?
He used to be the Prime Minister. We did win the 1992 general election.
OK, I tell you what you could do, Ed. You could write some after-dinner speeches.
Yes, that's rather what I was suggesting, Ping.
And then get someone famous to, like, read them out, you know, after dinner, like Dame Kelly Thingy, or the jockey who went to prison for horse-dragging. We're handling his book.
I'd be disappointed if you weren't.
You could write him a special little jockey-type speech.
How much would I get?
That's exactly what he says, the jockey, every time he comes in. How much would I be getting? A tile.
Tuesday. Ghostwriting is a much maligned branch of the literary profession. After all, finding the voice of a subject better known for appearing in racing silks than before 300 well-oiled Rotarians is much the same as getting under the skin of a character in one's own fiction. There's no place for snobbery here, so it was with enthusiasm that I undertook to rendezvous with Mr. Seamus McGee outside the Red Hen Food Court at Scratchwood Services on the M1 at 6:30 a.m. on Thursday. Look for a big white Merc, it says on the email. No doubt with 6 big black bin liners full of cash on the back seat. What would you say the correct response is to this, Elgar? Blimey, let's hope we give the Rozzers the slip. Hello, matey from Nigeria's back. I am absolutely besieged by liars, cut purses and con men. Hello? Yes, it is. Well, I posted it last week. £42.29 or something. Oh, how stupid of me. Look, I know what's happened. I must have put the Barclaycard cheque in your envelope and the egg cheque in the Barclaycard envelope. I do apologise. So what shall I do? Wait for you to send me another bill in a month or so, or what do you mean you've paid it in? Oh, so you and Barclaycard are in the habit of swapping cheques, are you? Just like that? Well, that's all very cosy, I must say. So what, you all get together to decide whether or not I eat next week? Is that the way it works? Well, it serves you right if it has bounced. Good day to you, or whatever time it is there in Bangalore. Thank you for calling, Ed Reardon. All our operators are having to write jokes for a bent jockey, but your call is important to us, so please continue... Oh, hello, Ellie. Hello. Or is it Eli? There you are. One packet of Rizzlers and one cranberry juice. Or is it cranberry?
Cheers, Dad. What?
I'm not sure I like your hair like that, Ellie.
What do you mean?
It's all gone.
Shaved it off like 5 years ago.
And your young man, Bill, is he able to keep you in the illegal substances to which you're accustomed?
I'm clean now, Dad. So's Bill. He's a lecturer at Sussex University.
Oh, the semiotics of Scooby-Doo, I don't doubt.
That's really cheap, you know. He teaches music.
No, I'm sorry, what sort of music?
Queen's.
Oh, what, Renaissance music, that sort of thing?
No, Queen the band. He did his PhD in the lyrics of Bohemian Rhapsody.
And that pays well, does it?
40 grand a year. And from what I'm bringing in from designing the dream catchers, that makes 41, so you haven't got too much to worry about, Dad.
Well, as I said on the phone, I would like to contribute somehow. What are you doing about your honeymoon?
We're going to California. They have a Queen convention every year in Scaramouche. Bill's a speaker, so it's all paid for.
Well, I'd like to put some money behind the bar. How many people are you expecting?
200 or 300.
Oh.
Don't worry, we'll just be happy if you come.
Does that we include your mother and the Reverend what's-his-name?
Don't start, Dad. We all want you to be there.
Well, of course. How could I miss, forgive the cliché, your big day? I'm not only going to come to my daughter's wedding, I'm going to make her proud of me. Proud to have me sitting next to her at the top table, and proud when I stand up to make my speech.
Right.
And I'll tell you what I could do. Instead of paying for the drinks, I could arrange a church. There's a place in Perry Vale on the A40. I filmed there once. You slip the priest a couple of bottles of scotch. I'm sure you'd get it for virtually nothing.
Actually, Dad.
Wednesday. It seemed that the doting father was to be frozen out of the formalities, and the organisation of my daughter's wedding was in the responsible hands of the former Mrs. Ed Reardon, Janet, and her freshly ordained significant other, the Reverend Toyboy Tim, both of whom will no doubt insist on the happy couple sashaying down the aisle, banging tambourines and singing Kumbaya. Let's let them get on with it. I have bigger fish to fry, a more important speech to write, and one which will be not only appreciated, but paid for by shameless Seamus of Scratchwood Services.
You's the writer fellow, what did they call you? Ed Reardon.
Oh, hello. Sorry, I thought the car was empty. Didn't see you down there. I've been here 20 minutes.
I did about giving you a job. I'll hop in and we'll be after going.
Right. Just finished my orchard fresh apple fritter. Don't want to get icing sugar on your upholstery.
Now, I'm on about this area. If we don't get a move on, we miss the first at Market Raisin.
Do you want to wait while I just shut the door? No, fine. Hadn't I better get that, Seamus?
Dermot, I run this. I'll get it on now or I miss a 1328. If it comes in, we'll have a good night. Cheers now. Get out of the way, you muppet.
Seamus, sorry, I don't want to distract you when you're driving at this kind of speed, but I thought we could start your speech by describing your feelings when you won the Gold Cup.
Well, it was all right, you know, but the best part was coming back in the weighing room and there was 50 grand.
Yeah. Wasn't there an amusing story about your breeches going missing at the top of the hill?
Oh, that was a grand tale. You need to run the top of his whip. So I think to himself next Thursday, I'll nobble you, you bastard.
Yeah, I got the bit about the whip.
Watch out! What are you making a noise like that for? Sure, there's nothing there at all.
Would it help at all, I mean, at all, if I describe what's going on outside the car? Because it must be very difficult for you to see over the top of the steering wheel. I mean, they're really built for big, tall Germans, these cars, aren't they?
Hello, Michael. How's the weather in Cyprus?
Actually, Seamus, I've probably got enough now. And as we seem to be at Leicester Forest Services, well, in no time at all.
Would you be hanging on there, mate? Got a little bit of business to do. Don't want you to hear what we're saying.
No, I don't think there's much danger of that.
The old fella's been having a word with the milkman. Ed, would you mind getting out of the car?
Ed, my dear boy, how lovely to see you.
Hello, Felix.
What are you doing here, Reardon?
My two favourite clients together in my office again. What larks. Let's have lunch.
We've just come back, Felix.
Oh, so we have. Jazz is over for the BAFTAs. Ed, what are you here for? Borrow another tenner?
Borrow a book, actually, but I will take the tenner as a refusal off an offence. So, attending the BAFTAs. That's on a par with looking your own name up in the phone book.
I think you'll find they're playing an increasingly important part on the cinema stage.
Is there importance on the cinema stage in any way connected with your not being nominated for an Oscar?
No.
Well, I could keep this up all day, but I wonder, Felix, if you've got a spare copy of that jockey's autobiography. I'm writing his speech, and I can't understand a word he says.
Oh, top shelf, halfway along. Got it? No, pass the Big Willie book. No, that's the Farter's Dictionary. Come down from there.
Here?
No, that's How to Burp. But do take that too if you need jokes. It sold terrifically. Paid for the pool in Tuscany and our tickets to Bayreuth.
So, writing after-dinner speeches, are we?
Yes. I can run up an acceptance speech for your BAFTA, if you like. Perhaps I will take the Farter's Dictionary, Felix.
I've also been asked to speak at my goddaughter's wedding. Did you know Ellie was getting married?
Yes. I'll be making a speech, too.
Good for you, Ed. Are you giving her away?
No, I'm going to try and get as much for her as I can.
Dad, this is Bill.
Good to meet you, sir.
Tuesday. If there's one thing more infuriating than being called mate by a 12-year-old, it's being addressed as sir by a 12-year-old, especially when he's 31. It's tantamount to being asked if you're all right all the time, and if you want your meat cutting up. But I withheld a number of suitable reproofs that sprang to mind, and was charm itself. After all, this was the man my beloved daughter was to marry, and what's more, Professor Bill of Sussex University was quite possibly in a position to offer his future father-in-law the odd bit of guest lecturing, perhaps even the Grail itself, the job that allows you to put your feet up for a year at the taxpayer's expense, otherwise known as writer in residence.
What a splendid jacket that is. Tell me, Bill, are the silver stars stuck on?
No, they're sewn on, sir.
Ah, not by Ellie, surely. She only ever had one use for needles. Well, this is all very agreeable.
Dad, Mum and Tim have offered to pay for the whole wedding,
Have they now?
with a big marquee and the ceremony in his church.
I suppose on condition that he's allowed to play his guitar. One of those interfaith hymns they're so fond of these days. Da 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 da.
No,
Da, da, da.
it goes into D there, sir. Dance, dance, wherever you may be.
Shut up, right? Look, Mum and Tim want it to be traditional. Me in white, bridesmaids, lots of readings from the Bible.
Ah, the old King James, yes, with a sturdy lock on it. I'm very partial to the Book of Job. Perhaps I could deliver a chapter or two of that as well as my speech.
No, you don't understand. That's not what we want.
We want a different kind of traditional, like an 80s traditional.
With the ceremony in a tree, like in the Spandau Ballet video.
Right.
And Bill's got this genuine Freddie Mercury suit he's going to wear.
And you're sure this tree's big enough to hold 300 guests?
No, the tree's in the grounds of Nebworth House. That's where we're planning to have the reception. But Mum hates the whole idea.
Oh, she doesn't, does she? Oh, dear, you see... Well, I don't want to say anything against her, but that's so old-fashioned, curmudgeonly, that's what it is, and intolerant. And what does Tim think?
You know what he wanted? To have, like, an organ playing the wedding march.
Oh, well, I'm speechless. I don't know what to say. Would you like me to ring them up? How rude would you like me to be?
No, that's not what this lunch is about, Dad.
They're not threatening to withhold the money, are they?
No, we can pay for it all if we have to.
Oh, good.
Except you did promise to pay for the drink.
Absolutely, yes, I said I would, and I will. It's your special day, and I'm not about to spoil it, like some people.
And hey, it's only money.
So, Bill...
Oh, yeah. We thought it might be cool if I, formally asked for your daughter's hand in marriage, sir.
Oh, dear fellow, of course. Nice to see some traditions being upheld. I couldn't ask for a better son-in-law.
Oh, Dad.
Now, tell me, Bill, do you currently have a writer in residence down there at Sussex University?
Yeah, Lynn Truss, she's great.
Yes, isn't she, yes.
Thursday. My offer to Ellie to provide 36 cases of Asda's 7 for 2 Bulgarian Shiraz for the reception went down like the 2002 vintage, actually. It was clear that I would have to look elsewhere for the wherewithal to buy champagne, especially as my Nigerian email friend had so far resisted my suggestion that I would be happy to supply my bank account details if he first sent me a cheque for £5,000 to cover my office expenses. A call to Ping brought only the doleful news that the most I could expect for the Seamus McGee speech was £600 in dirty notes. Mirabile dictu, she was wrong.
Hey there, big fella.
Think I've been a bit of a comedian there, do you? Save the funnies for the speech.
Sorry, Seamus, I was talking to the horse. Anyway, I'm pleased to report that the speech is going great guns. Those chief constables will absolutely love it. You'll be opening with a broth of a fart joke, just to get the crowd on your side.
Will you stop talking about the brilliant speech now and listen? Take this and stick it on Harrington Regiment next. Try and get the 9 to 2.
I say, this is a lot of money, Seamus. You want me to put it on Sligo Rocket, the horse you're riding? Is that it?
No, you idiot.
Sorry, silly question.
Stick the lot on Harrison Venture.
Can you just point to it on the race card, the name? Oh, I see, number 4. Right, will do.
Number 4, Harrison Venture, still has a half-length lead. But now, Seamus McGee stokes up Sligo Rocket. He's up sides now. Sligo Rocket goes into the lead. It's Sligo Rocket forging ahead. Nothing's going to catch him now. It's another one for favourite baggers. And, oh dear.
Really rotten luck, Seamus, being in the lead and then losing your whip and your stirrups. What are the odds against that happening, I wonder?
They'll be offering double carpet for that. Here's your present.
Oh, goodness, I think you're giving me too much here.
Shut up and have a drink.
If you insist, I will. Not Bulgarian, either.
The wedding champagne issue had now been resolved to the satisfaction of all concerned, except possibly for Happy Jack, the Sandown Park bookmaker whose disposition was palpably less sunny as he emptied the contents of his leather satchel into my plastic carrier bag. All that remained now was the speech. When it comes to public speaking, a professional wordsmith starts with a great advantage, but as I explained to my writing class at Berkhamsted Leisure Centre, the art of speech writing is primarily a matter of gauging the mood of your audience.
Oh, I think I must have dropped off for a second. I didn't snore, did I?
No, hardly at all, Olive. I was just saying that tailoring your material to the demands of the event is all.
Don't know about tailoring. You look very smart tonight.
Glad to see the back of those sandals.
Thank you. Well, presentation is important. Now, as it happens, I have to make a speech at my daughter's wedding, but at the same time, I'm also writing some after-dinner material for one of our leading jockeys.
It's not that bent one, is it? McGee?
Yes.
Oh, he wants locking up.
Well, as a writer, one has to leave one's scruples at the door when attempting to inhabit a character.
I lost 15 quid on him last Friday. Sligo Rocket. Went into reverse thrust, that one.
I thought you always won, Stan.
I do. As long as the jockey doesn't fall off when he doesn't need to.
Oh dear, well, that's gambling, I'm afraid.
Is that a new shirt too?
Well, just to return to the subject of speeches.
Cufflinks, look.
As I say, it's my daughter's wedding soon, and I haven't yet worked out what I'm going to say. Obviously, I want to include some of my personal philosophy.
I've been to that many weddings. Must be 500. And not one good speech.
I wish they didn't always tell jokes. Why don't they just speak from the heart instead of trying to be funny?
That's good counsel, Olive.
Does he give you tips?
What?
I'll be dropping my whip after the last, so put your money on the other neck.
So, Pearl, these 500 weddings...
I lost 15 quid. How much did you win?
What's the worst speech you can remember?
Friday, midnight. It is only a few hours until Ellie walks down the aisle, or at any rate shins up the trunk, and with Seamus's speech safely printed up and ready for delivery in its snazzy plastic folder, still got a few left from the 1982 BBC drama launch, it's time for Ed Reardon to speak from the heart about his true and deep relationship with his daughter, and the world in which I would like to see my grandchildren raised.
I'll start with the demise of the Routemaster bus. Red phone boxes. Red. Streets running red with the blood of 12-year-old newsreaders who can't decide whether to refer to the year 2007 or 2007, often in the same bulletin. First 20 minutes there, Elgar. And the punishment doubled for persistent offenders. Pause for applause. And on that optimistic note of hope for the future, let's all raise our glasses. That means you as well, Tim. Come on, Janet, show your new hubby how to pick up a wine glass. To the happy couple, Ellie, spelt E-L-L-I-E, and Bill. Right, print. Oh, dear. Yes, coming.
Mr. Reardon.
Hello.
It is you. I couldn't believe it when I saw your name on the charge sheet.
Nor could I.
One of our most reliable ID parade participants on the wrong side of the law.
Yes, the irony of the situation isn't lost on me.
Seems something wrong about it, charging you with a felony.
Exactly what is it I'm accused of?
Corruption relating to racecourse gambling, after a tip-off from a concerned member of the public, apparently.
All I did was put a bet on for a colleague.
Well, I hope to goodness you do get off, because if you don't mind my saying, it'll put a right adjectival spanner in the works at this end if you don't.
In what way?
Well, have you seen the forecast for the weekend? Baking! Ashdown Forest is going to be lousy with flashes over the next few days. I don't know how we'll manage without you on the line-up come Monday morning.
It's just as well I'm innocent, then. Do you think I could have my briefcase back? My daughter's getting married at lunchtime, and I'd like to cast an eye over my speech.
Oh, I think we can stretch a point in the circumstances. And here's your pyjama cord.
No, thank you.
We're not ogres, you know.
Saturday. In time-honoured fashion, I'm allowed to make one phone call, and since it is to my agent, in equally time-honoured fashion, I transfer the charges. Luckily, Ping was just leaving a party in the disused Aldwych Underground station, merely a stone's throw from Bow Street Magistrates' Court, where two of her clients were awaiting her professional ministrations. Bail was duly granted.
You know, we're going to have to, charge you interest on this, Ed, at whatever percent.
Well, take it out of my fee for writing that bog-trotting crook speech. I'm sorry that sounds ungracious. I'm really very grateful to you, Ping.
No, it's okay. All part of the service, blah-de-blah.
Yeah, you didn't actually need a blah-de-blah there, but look, I'd like to make this up to you. How would you like to come to my daughter's wedding? It's up a tree.
Oh, cool. What kind of tree? Is it, all frondy?
Well, I don't know. But the thing is, it's at Nebworth, and you have to drive me in the Punto.
Well, I've got another 2 to go to this afternoon, but yeah, I can fit it in.
There you are, British shop, so you are. We've got a round out and a half there, so we did there. Now, have you got me speech?
Yes. Here's your speech. It's been a pleasure working with you. Can't wait to do it again on some other equine collaboration. Bent beauty, possibly.
I take care now, don't just really bad. You're back to prison.
Come on, Ping.
Ed, I'm doing 110.
Call that speeding? Right, there's the house. Look, there. Cut across the fields. Go on. Just get me to the tree on time.
Right, here he is at last. Everybody ready?
Sound running.
OK, ready when you are, Tony. And... just wait there, Ed. Hold the car door.
What's this? What's going on?
My wedding present to my goddaughter, the gift of cinema.
Oh, wow, I'm going to be in a Jazz Milvain movie.
Jazz Milvain's Ellie and Bill's wedding, arrival at the bride's father, take 1.
Jazz, is there anything in life you don't insist on a credit for?
Jazz Milvain's Ellie and Bill's wedding, arrival at the bride's father, take 2.
And action. OK, Ed, out you get.
Oh.
That's lovely. Tony, can you develop the shot and pan down to get Ed's pyjama trousers and slippers? Lovely jubbly. And... cut! Hang you, moving on.
Right, can we have the bride and groom in the cherry picker with the vicar, please? Let's get them up in the oak tree as soon as possible.
You know, there are people who want to change this traditional way of life.
My lords, ladies and gentlemen, chief constables, pray silence please for Mr. Seamus McGee. Is that not low enough for you, sir?
I got the thing the other day. Wouldn't it be great if me grandchildren was born into a world where they brought back the old red telephone boxes? You have to think about that one a bit.
And the actor in the gorilla skin says, "Sorry, Mr. Milvain, but who do you have to sleep with to get off this picture?" But there's only one star in today's picture, and she's the brightest in my firmament, because she's my beautiful goddaughter, Ellie.
Now pray silence for the bride's father, Mr. Ed Reardon.
You know, I think there's only one thing worse than being jocked off Desert Orchid the year he won the Gold Cup. and that's being downwind of Declan O'Shea when he's been for a curry in O'Connell Street. See if I've got my notes. Just bear with me. Because every time you give them a corner, they open the shop. No, that's not the right thing.
And I tell you another thing that makes me sick to me teeth. 12-year-old newsreaders who split their infinitives. Where the bejesus is me fart joke?
Well, I suppose I'd better explain why I stand before you now dressed in a pair of striped pyjamas, though some of you may not have noticed this due to the eccentricity of your own attire. But the reason is that I've come on from Bow Street Magistrates Court. Excellent canteen breakfast, by the way, if any of you are thinking of committing a felony on your way home. The champagne that you've just drained from your glasses to toast the happy couple was, in fact, exclusively funded by illegal gambling to the tune of £60,000 in a Waitrose carrier bag. Maybe the best will do for Ellie. So, it's not unfair to say that, in the process of losing a daughter, I've gained a criminal record. So I made it to the airport, Ellie, but the reason I couldn't join you and the rest of the family on the plane was because when I fell over drunk in Ladbroke Grove, I'd torn my only pair of trousers. Well, I managed to staple them back together again, and everything was fine until I tried to get through the metal detector at Heathrow Airport. If only I'd stolen the sellotape from the Granada stationery cupboard instead of that stapler. But there we are. A whole family history can turn on such bad decisions. So, as a symbol of my hope that we can patch things up from now on, and of course, for your future happiness together, Ellie and Bill, if I can get this briefcase open, I'd like to present you with this.
Oh, thanks, Dad.
And Jazz, can you get in here for a close-up of the stapler, please? Make sure we can see property of Granada Television.
No, sorry, battery's gone. Sorry, everybody. Ed, can you just go through all that again? From the top of the speech.
Ed Reardon's Week starred Christopher Douglas, with Stephanie Cole, John Fortune, Tom Colebrook, Martin Hyder, Philip Jackson, Rita May, Geoffrey McGivern, Barunka O'Shaughnessy, Alice Lowe and Geoffrey Whitehead. It was written by Christopher Douglas and Andrew Nickolls. The producer was Simon Nicholls.